Hi everyone! So today I'm going to talk about my anime story, or how I got into anime. So it was the late 90s and I was, I think I was like, it was like last year of elementary school or first year of middle school, but my cousin introduced me to Pokemon. And we started watching the show and we started playing the card game, though to be honest, I wasn't really that interested in actually playing the card game. I just really wanted to collect them because I really thought the Pokemon were just so adorable and cute. I wouldn't say Pokemon was my gateway anime. Sure, I watched a few episodes of Digimon and Sailor Moon around the same time that I started getting into Pokemon, but it didn't really seal the deal for me. I think it wasn't until Tenchi Muyo came on Toonami. I saw a preview for Tenchi Muyo, and you know, the animation style kind of looked similar to Pokemon to me back then, and I liked Pokemon, so I was like, hey, this looks like something I might like. So I watched it. I watched the entire thing when it ran on Toonami the first time, and I ended up loving it. The characters were just unlike anything I'd seen before, and the story was, well, to me, to my 12-year-old self, it was really in-depth, and they went into space, and there was drama, and there was love, and there was all sorts of crazy stuff going on, and I loved Ryoko because she was just unhinged and badass, and yet she had this really soft spot for Tenchi, and she would do anything for him, and I loved that. Not long after I got into Tenchi, a preview for Outlaw Star came on Toonami, and I watched the preview and I was like, oh wow, that looks really cool. You know, it's this spacey kind of adventure series, and oh my gosh, the main guy character is all like muscled and he has red hair, and I thought he was very hot at the time. My 13-year-old self was like, and that was honestly kind of the big deciding factor of why I watched Outlaw Star, was because I thought the main character was hot, and so I watched it, and I wasn't disappointed. The first episode was I was kind of fair weather about. It hadn't really hooked me at that point, but I think a few episodes in, I like really started getting into it. And then they started introducing more characters. They introduced Aisha, the crazy cat girl, and they introduced Suzuka, the cold assassin samurai woman, and I loved her. And I thought she was so cool. I wanted to be Suzuka because she was just amazing. My favorite characters in Outlaw Star have changed a lot over the years. Like at first, I wouldn't say I disliked Melfina, but I definitely didn't like her as much as I do now. She really grew on me as the series progressed, and you saw a lot of character development with her. And I think I could relate a lot with her. Like, I saw a lot of myself in her. She was a very reserved character, but she wasn't helpless. Like, she kind of fought in her own way. Even though she couldn't compete with the guys, you know, who whipped out their guns and were, you know, saddles blazing and taking out pirates and cyborgs and stuff, but she definitely held her own in her own way, I thought. And her struggles with her humanity and why she was there, what her purpose was, and everything, and she even questioned her usefulness to the group, and I thought that was amazing, because she definitely felt very real to me. Love every character in that show. And you know what? I could go on and on about Outlaw Star because it is my favorite show ever, it's my favorite anime ever, but I will save that for another video. I would say Outlaw Star was the first anime that was not intended for children that I got really hooked on. And after that, I watched Cowboy Bebop, and I fell in love with that as well. I was kind of limited to the anime that I could watch on TV or that I could get on DVD for fairly cheaply. Anime was so expensive back then. Like, I really wanted to check out Evangelion because I'd seen art of the characters. Like, I'd seen Rei Ayanami and Asuka online, and I was like, oh, they look so cool. I bet I'd love them. And but I just didn't have any access to the show, so when my birthday came around, I asked for Evangelion, the box set, which was like $120 on Amazon. and it ended up being like a combined gift from both my parents. But I was just so happy to receive it, and I watched it. Sure, I was a little like, what did I just watch after the last episode? But I thought, you know, it captivated me. Just the depth, the character depth, and the psychological depth that they go into in that show. This is gonna sound weird, but it's actually a very comforting show for me to watch. Which is kind of bizarre to talk about, because the show is kind of about the end of humanity and the apocalypse and the 14-year-olds fighting in giant robots against the angels, which are these beings sent down to destroy the earth. But the way that they delved into each character's psyche and why they did things and everything just really, like, I don't know, it just kind of, it made me feel like I wasn't alone. Not long after that, I started watching Utena because an anime DVD rental place moved into the mall. And so I was so excited, and my mom let me rent anime DVDs from them, and one of the first series I rented from them was Utena, Revolutionary Girl Utena. And I just, it's a really bizarre show, and I definitely would not recommend it for someone who's just starting to get into anime, but I loved it from the first episode, and I loved, like, every part of it. But yeah, so anyway, that's my story of how I got into anime. Sound off below in the comments. I'd love to hear what anime got you started and what your favorite series are. So let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can see my updates as I make them. Thank you for watching.